It's time to sit by the fire and write a note to your sweet mother who died last year of cholera on another exciting episode of the Cowboy Rowdy Podcast.
Wait, Governor.
Know that I'm coming correct.
Let me talk to you guys about something that they can do both drunk and high that is extremely pleasant.
I think our podcast needs a budget for guns.
Cowboy Rowdy. Well, shoot, dang. Crack a cold one, baby. What is it with this fucking podcast?
It's me, your host, Karen Beasley-Berry. Joining us as always, resident comedian and filmmaker Anthony Barrera.
What's up? It's your boy Young Baphomet.
Back in the saddle. Back. Also joining us, studio engineer and generally awesome guy, and now part-time host, Sebastian McCabe.
Hello. Yeah, back from my hosting duties. Cameron, I'm so glad you're back.
Dude, can I just say, it looks like you're giving yourself a tracheotomy with a USB cable. What are you doing, dude? You're more RoboCop than ever.
You really got the choker fashion going on right now.
There's a lot going on here.
Robo choker. Wow, we're gonna make a fortune. Also joining us, we're so excited about this. Wish he could have been in the studio, but we had to just do whatever we could to get to talk to him. Ruben Escobedo III. How you doing?
Yeah. What's up, dude? Eat it, Michael. I got introduced before you did.
I was hoping he would say something about it. I was hoping he would, and he did.
Not even on the show, and I got introduced before.
You just learned the whole theme
show.
of the show. Yeah, you just learned the whole theme immediately.
It's all good.
Right
Yeah.
there.
Now you understand. Yeah.
Also joining us and partially introduced by the guest, Michael Booth. And let me just do this right. Monterey Bay comic and show producer.
There you go.
Hello.
And Ruben Escobedo, I didn't give you credits either. So you're a stand-up comic, for those of you who
Yes.
already know. Also a show producer. You've got the Pick Your Own Poison show. We want to talk about the Zoom edition you've been putting out lately. And also, you got 2 podcasts now. Is that right? Is it 2?
Yeah.
Or is it up?
2. I got 2, and then possibly a 3rd in the works. We'll see what happens. But
Well done, sir. Well, we're glad to have you on here. First,
you.
though, I want to take the guests on I think the best way to get to know Ruben Escobedo III, and we went over this beforehand. What do you think happens when someone searches you online? Like, if some new person wants to get to know you and they type in Ruben Escobedo III.
What do I think someone... Oh, God. I don't know. Probably something that I'm not proud of? I don't know.
Oh, sure.
Like,
Oh, sure.
I feel like that's what happens when anybody Googles themselves.
Hey, if you Google me, it's like 16 different white kids from Nebraska. 9% of them are rapists. It's not good. I've done the math. Yours is better, but yours is hilarious. But yeah. I don't want to go the boring route. I don't want people listening in to just Google Ruben Escobedo III. I want to take a trip down memory lane. I want people to do something that's you're gonna sound like I come from a distrustful source when I say this, but please believe me. Go to yahoo.com.
Okay.
Okay, so
I'm afraid I'm about to get canceled.
Hey, I feel like we'll be canceled vicariously through you, so we'll take the brunt of this.
What did I do?
We get the clout for exposing him.
Yeah.
True.
Are you guys Hannibal Buressing me right now? What is this?
We're trying to segue into Chris D'Elia, but just go ahead and just Yahoo search yourself, and then after you Yahoo search yourself, go to the images tab.
Oh no. So there's a lot of weirdly offensive drawings. Oh my god.
Well, no, hold on. You're skipping ahead. Because I want to give credit where credit's due. The internet and search engine optimization is a hard thing to get a grasp on, especially as a comedian. We don't got budgets. We're not from that background. We're just trying to make people laugh. But the very first thing that comes up on images is an awesome picture of you with, it looks like a speeder trooper and a stormtrooper.
Yeah, it's a speeder trooper and a stormtrooper. And that is there's actually a really wholesome message behind that. God, I'm worried about this other stuff. But
Yeah, that's what we want to get to.
Okay.
No, so that is actually this is a funny story. I used to work at GameStop, and a kid's make-a-wish was to go to GameStop, which was weird, but hey, whatever. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I wonder what his life was like.
He just wanted to go to GameStop, but I knew that, and he was a big Star Wars fan, and I knew that there are these organizations where they send people in Star Wars costumes, and they do that kind of stuff. We had a week's notice, and that was what they That was what they taught. They all came out. they were super cool about it. They like, so I was literally leaving at work that day, and I got to take that picture. They were super chill.
What if the kid afterwards was just depressed about how bad his idea was? He's like, they had to bring stormtroopers because my idea sucked that bad? Like, he just gave him insecurity issues.
Yeah. he was like driving home. He was like, that was awesome. And he's just like, wait a minute. I went to GameStop. Like, that Bat Kid movie came out, and he was like, wait, what? I could have done that?
You could be Bat Kid for a day? What if he forgot to buy what he wanted at GameStop? He's like, oh!
He just came in. Oh, I'm just browsing. Thank you.
I'm just browsing.
Well, that is wholesome. I'm glad that you were involved in doing an awesome Make-A-Wish thing.
We made it not wholesome, but yeah.
It gets way worse from there. I just want to say,
does.
it goes from wholesome picture you, Make-A-Wish thing with a kid, to immediately El Chapo's lawyer, and then like 6 other mugshots, and then doodles from weird places. Do you have any tie to these doodles?
Maybe. I don't. If I did, this was from a game. Oh, it's a game called Drawception. This is, one of these is the meme Dat Boy, so you know it's old. These are like, so I definitely drew at least 2 of these. Most of these don't look recognizable to me at all.
I just want to say this. If I look like I haven't slept, it's because the night before our podcast, I always do a deep dive on any guest work.
Oh, no.
And so,
Searches
You know what,
on everything.
Can I suggest a fun game to play for anyone that's going to do this, that's listening? Look at it like a timeline, like a comic book. All these photos in sequential order. It gets really interesting. Just the story that develops gets crazy.
go Yahoo.com.
Thankfully, I definitely did not. Some of these are way better than I could draw.
Well, hey, I want to say the crab cancer one, that was by far your most
And you have to look at all the mugshots too of
Simplistic
other
but
people that are in
beautiful.
between the drawings. That really adds to the storyline of the.
Oh, for sure.
I'll tell
For
you
sure.
right now, for sure, the one that I know I did is Pika Shrek. I don't think any of these
okay,
other ones.
that's sick. Okay.
I don't think any of these other ones are actually me because there's actual talent in them. There is one that's Pikachu and Yoshi kissing, and I wish I drew that one. That one's impressive.
Can I
that's
say my
work.
favorite one?
Oh God.
My favorite one is it looks like Mario and the devil.
It's Mario and
it's-
Pink Jesus.
And it's like fire behind the devil and it says, man, sure
Oh,
is
that
cold
one.
today. And then Mario's saying, please let me star. Which I think
I
is-
believe that's Waluigi.
oh,
I believe that's
Waluigi.
Waluigi.
Bro, Michael just sounded like your grandma like found some drawings under your bed or something.
Yeah.
It's just like, is this Mario and the devil? What are these video games?
That's my porn, Grandma.
That's what it looks
So,
like. I don't know.
This is amazing. I feel guilty though at the end of all this because I looked at it looks like at least 3 years worth of Drawception drawings and stories, and I only listened to like 2 episodes of your podcast. So
That's fine.
Here's
That's
the thing:
fine.
the podcast was better.
Yeah,
But
because
my
oh,
imagination
God.
ran wild with the other stuff.
I am glad that that's always my biggest fear is that somebody's gonna now I know it happens when you Google me, but somebody's gonna Google me.
No. It's only when you Yahoo you, so you've got a very small demographic that's being
Yeah,
affected right
that's
now.
Well, you know what?
hilarious.
Let's check Bing. Let's see what happens.
Oh, dude, Bing is the horniest search engine.
That's what I'm hoping
gonna-
for.
I'm gonna-
Bing
Bing is
is
thirsty.
like permanent
It's mustache
safe search
rides.
off. Like if you are trying to find pornography, Bing is the way that you find it. But if you're trying to find fucking anything else, it's no good because it'll just be all porn.
That's the most practical thing Seb has ever said on this.
Honestly,
Yeah,
that
this
is
is
the
the
best
real-
piece of practical advice ever given by Sebastian.
Normally, I
It's the
charge
same
$30
thing,
an hour
dude.
for advice like that.
So we weren't trying to turn you into like full blown narcissism.
There's actually more drawings on Bing.
I bet
Wait a
there
minute.
are. I bet
Wait a
there's
minute.
some of
On
Mario
Bing, it's just
doing
a
some
picture of my genitals, which is interesting. 'Cause I don't
There's
think
some
I've
pictures
ever-
of like some military marching and it just,
Yeah,
You could tell it was yours from the mustache.
yeah. There's a mustache on
Yeah.
it. That's how I make sure.
I was gonna say, how do you recognize your own testicles?
Look, man, we've all got our own problems.
You know, the green screen that you have as the background right now is giving me a really strong desire to like Photoshop in one of your drawings behind you.
Oh God, that would be a nightmare.
No, there's
I
some
just-
weird, there's some weird memes
It's gonna be too much
now.
work.
The farther I
It's gonna be too
scroll.
much work. Something big happened yesterday. I wasn't there for it, unfortunately, but you had a Zoom show. How'd it go?
The Zoom show went well, man. It's pick your poison on Zoom is weird, but we love it. It's definitely different because live, it's a little bit more polished and it's a live comedy show, so you get more stuff going on. It's kind of more like boom, boom, boom.
Atmospheric.
But
and
when
stuff.
it's over Zoom, like BMO and I will kind of just like kind of co-host it. Like we'll just be like, okay, you introduce the next person, whatever. It's much more interactive, which already the show is pretty interactive. Like we don't encourage the audience to like shout or do anything, but at the same time, comics will more often than not just directly talk to the audience. Like this is dumb, right? Like, and they'll get the audience involved. And when it's over Zoom, it's even more escalated.
Nice.
It is absurd. It's ridiculous. We've been able to get comics from New York, LA, just all over the country, which is
the
dope.
limitations are off, which is nice.
Yeah, it's amazing. The fact that like the show can somehow get bigger on Zoom because we can
Yeah,
just
it's
like reach
weird.
out to people.
You have infinite space.
Yeah, and what's dope about it is like all you got to do is just reach out to somebody to see if they'll do the show. Like there's a couple like things where I was like, "Hey, I'd love for you to do the show," blah blah, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm in." Like because no one's really doing anything else. Like
Yeah, and they don't
nothing
got
to
to
do.
travel or anything. They don't
Yeah.
have to set up or worry
From the
about
comfort
getting
of home.
home.
yeah,
It's
you
kind of
could
a
do it
boom
with
for
a phone.
comedy right now in some weird respects. It's really strange.
Yeah, and I think that like with the show too is like we kind of tell people like obviously have fun, but like don't treat this like a regular stand-up. Like don't worry about this. This is nothing. This is just fun. You're gonna do 7 minutes of material of your actual material no matter what. Because if you bomb the improv part or what, you're gonna do 7 minutes of your own material. But then if you headline, you do 15. And the headliners are always, I mean, we book people that we know have 15. It's not like, here's material, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
we've had a couple, like, what's cool over Zoom is we've had a couple not stand-up comics. We've had, like, improv comics and, like comedians
Okay.
from, like, TV and stuff who, like, well then, or podcasters that'll riff for 15 minutes and it'll crush because it'll just be different. It won't, which would be weird to do it live. It would be weird for someone on stage to go, someone do kind of like my podcast for 15 minutes. Like, that'd be so weird.
Yeah.
to go to a comedy show and like kind of be surprised with that. Like obviously there are live podcasts and you can go to that kind of thing and see live, but like for someone to just be like, I told some jokes, let's do my podcast. It's like, oh, that's kind of weird, but it totally works over Zoom.
I feel like introducing it like that makes it even worse.
Yeah, you can't just say
Yeah.
that.
So I'm gonna do 15 minutes from my pod, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you're Mark Maron, that might get a standing ovation.
Well, it's like the guy who won round one, he did that, but his podcast is called oh my gosh, The Brighter Side. So what they do is people email in or they sent in their like problems and they tell you the brighter side. But it's like a comedy podcast, so it's like the brighter side of this isn't always actually that great, but there are
they
good
make
sides
it
to
spin it as
everything.
positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are good sides to everything, and so it was kind of fun. And he just goes, "Ruben, what you got going on?" So in the middle of his 15-minute set, me and him are talking, but it's doing well. It's funny. People are having fun, and I think that like Zoom comedy is weird because you want to pay attention, but also it's kind of like when you're watching something on your computer, you can kind of zone out because most things you're watching on your computer aren't live.
Most people are playing solitaire.
Yeah, or texting or whatever, but then when you're a comic and you look up and you see a grid full of people not paying attention, you're like, well, I'm bombing, but you're really not, because we do that all the time. We look at screens when we're texting, when we're watching Netflix, or we're doing something else while this is on, or podcasts or whatever. Like
They're
you kind
looking
of
at a
forget that
screen,
it's live.
they're not sitting in a
Yeah.
an audience.
Here's where
you
it's
know?
different. I'll address somebody at a show who's on their phone. I will make that person so uncomfortable they want to leave the room. And I'll make everybody else laugh at them. Like,
Yeah.
I'll pick it out. So like on a Zoom show, I feel like it's kind of less credible to do that because, and this is something I haven't thought about as often because I don't like the Zoom shows myself per se. Nothing against yours, just the performance.
I know
of
what
it.
you
I like
mean.
watching, but the performing. But the people are in their home. They didn't
Yeah.
go out to a club. They're in their home. If you insult them while they're sitting in their home, it's like, ugh. They're like at home, just blood pressure's rising. They're like, fuck comedy. Like,
Well, what's cool
so-
is like the people that tune into a Zoom show are the people that want to watch comedy. Like they're there because they want to see it. Like sometimes at a bar show, specifically at a bar show, they get surprise comedy, where it's like, oh, I guess something's going on. No one has ever accidentally gone to a Zoom show and been like, "Oh, there's comedy here." Like, I thought
They
this
got
was
the key and we're like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna enter this.
yeah.
See what's going on."
I thought this
Are they
was a
in
work
there?
meeting.
What is this?
Yeah. but so I mean, like, those people, like, we've had plenty of, like, especially with my show, crowd work is great, and that's what's so fun about crowd work on a Zoom show is you're in someone's home now.
Yeah.
So we had there was a couple weeks ago we did one, and there was two couples that were watching. You could see them in the grid, and we're like, oh, like, are you guys a couple? They were like sitting near each other, so you assumed they were a couple, but it was like, we're like, oh, are you guys a couple? Like, or siblings? And they're like, oh, we're siblings. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then there's this other couple. I was like, what about you guys? And they kissed, and I was like, oh, dope. So also siblings, cool.
At least someone knows how to make sibling porn in the Zoom chat. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
I was like, yeah. I mean, hey,
Find
man.
it on Bing.
Yeah. You Google my name on Bing, and
yeah,
that's
just type
exactly
in
what you
Ruben
get.
Escobedo. Sibling porn. Awesome, man. So how was Mike Kaplan? I saw he was going to be on there last.
Dude,
time.
Mike Kaplan rules. And
That's
Mike,
awesome.
we've had Mike on twice, and we don't deserve Mike. He is a super chill dude, super nice guy. And we had him the first time, and I was like, that ruled, but there's no way we do that again.
Yeah.
And then, like, he emailed me. He was like, hey, man, I seriously had so much fun. Like, thanks for having me on the show. I was like, yeah, man, no worries. And, like, 2 weeks later, he emailed me again and was like, hey, man, if you have any spots, I'd love to do the show again. And I was like, yeah, you're in. You're in.
Wow. That's
So,
No, that's when you got to dick up a little bit and be like, I'm a little busy, Mike. Can you bug me later?
well,
And then
the worst part is
you got to get at
I
those levels.
waited like a week to respond because we were kind of like booked out, and I was
You
like, I want to
did
get
big
him,
dick him. Oh.
but I don't want to be like, hey, let me get back to you. I was like, let me figure out when I
I'm
know
just
for
gonna
sure we have a
ghost
spot.
you.
It's your spot.
Nice.
I'm just gonna slowly ghost you for a week.
Yeah.
No,
No,
that's
but Mike-
cool though. That
yeah,
that
Mike,
you can have
I
that
mean,
working rapport.
His sets are always incredible, and me and BMO
Such
just
a
sit
good
there
guy.
and we're like, what, like, we don't deserve this. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's cool to watch people riff, because a lot of people who are super uncomfortable with it often do well, and then there are times where you like, we've had amazing comics on the show. So, all the comics we book, I'm like, I love to watch because they're all impressive, but I love when we get comics that are very writer heavy comics. They're very scripted. They know exactly the beats to hit because that's how they write, and they
Right.
don't riff. And then you put them on a show that is riffing, and they
Entirely for
are
riffing,
terrible. Yeah, they're terrified.
That's
One
awesome.
we had a guy who's an amazing comic. Dude's a headliner. He's so fantastic. We had him on the live shows, and he was upset. He was clearly visibly upset on stage. And he is trash talking the show in a funny way, but he's trash talking it on stage.
Awesome.
And he goes, this show isn't like if you took Thor and took his hammer away and gave him a dildo. Like, you take what he needs away from him and expect him to be good. And it's like, yeah. And I
He's
looked
gonna
at
have more fun.
Yeah, I was like, I looked at BMO and I'm like, that's our new tagline. Like, that is how
It's
we
not gonna
pitch
fit
the
on a
show.
sticker, but
Yeah, that's how we pitch the show to people who are like, what's it like? I'm like, well, if you take Thor.
you mess up the analogy. You're like, you ever try to build a house with a dildo?
That's awesome.
I love it. That's pretty sick, man. So I want to talk about your other project. I know you got quite a few here, but
Yeah.
the Kid Tested Mother Approved. One of
Yes.
the first things advertised on your Instagram. 100+ episodes in now. How is that? How have you been able to keep that going?
You know what? I love that this started with, hey, we Googled you. Here's some weird images you drew. So now talk about your mom.
Yeah. This is more of a deep dive / investigation, but
Yeah. No, so Kid Tested Mother Approved is cool, man. It's definitely, this sounds weird, but it's a show that I do for my mom. So it's me and my mom, and each week we pick a theme, or a theme is given to us, and then we pick a movie for each other to watch based on that theme. And then we talk about it, we review it, and it's just a lot of us, like, kind of making fun of each other, talking or whatever. And we did it as kind of like, oh, this will be fun. And I think we were maybe 5-10 episodes in, and I set an email up for the show, and we got an email that was like, I listen to this show because it makes me want to have a better relationship with my mom because I don't have that. And
yeah.
and my mom was like, oh, like, it kind of became real for us. Like, we were just like, blah, 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 this is us being stupid in front of a microphone. And then it was like, oh, people listen to this because for some people, this is the connection they don't have.
Yeah.
It's so wholesome. It's such a wholesome way to listen and enjoy
Your
something.
existence is like justified now.
Yeah, and that's it. Like you were saying, it's such a wholesome show. Like the very first episode, which people I was like, I started from the beginning. I'm like, don't do that.
Don't do
Like,
that.
don't.
On anything.
They were
On anything.
so bad at the beginning. But like the first episode, the theme was like actors who died early. So I gave my mom Philip Seymour Hoffman in The Big Lebowski, and summed up her. And she's been a preschool teacher for 34 years. Summed up her review of it was, didn't make sense and there was too many F words. And I was like, perfect. That is exactly what I want my mom to think of Big Lebowski. She's
It's
like,
like a 1930s censor. A
yeah,
lot of noise, too many F words.
yeah.
Bro,
But
can
then,
you
like-
imagine the TV version of The Big Lebowski? It would just be like more beeps than talking.
Oh,
No, I've
have you
seen
not
it. It's a
seen-
bowling movie.
Have you not
It's a
seen on
bowling
YouTube?
movie.
People have put up clips of the TV version. So the scene where Walter is the when he's hitting the car because he thinks the kid spent all the money.
Oh yeah, this is what happens.
Yeah. They dubbed it with "This is what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps." So it's just him going, "You see what happens, Larry? You see what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps?"
It's
like
better
the
than the
Kidz
bad ones they
Bop
do
version.
on TBS. They used to do instead of like Mother F or whatever like that. He'd be like, "I'm gonna go to this," and then it would cut to the thing and it'd be like turkey baster house.
Or like Jesus
That's a
Christ
different
becoming
guy.
cheese and rice.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, you
I love that.
gotta keep it Christian.
So,
I love
yeah.
that stuff, man.
So you had this wholesome show. It's a great idea, and it's fun because I know you love movies. You're
Yeah.
kind of a cinephile, so having that a thing you like and doing it with somebody you like, super wholesome. But like when you went into quarantine, was she like, "Let's do episodes every day"?
No, you know what's funny is we've been in quarantine, and she was like, "We don't have to do them weekly." Like she's like, "I see you enough." But like,
Dang. Okay. Yeah.
but so just with everything going on, like it's even been because she's still a teacher and she's still having to do all that stuff, and like, so we've been trying to like do them. I have a new episode I'm probably gonna put up today, but yeah, no, it's funny. People think that like they're like, "Oh, is your mom like really on it?" I'm like, "No, it's more me being like, okay, we got to record this time and this time." She's like, "Well, I'm kind of busy." I'm like, "You stop being busy. Like, this is the show."
That's my whole point that I was trying to get to. Like when you're working with your mom, like with these guys sometimes, like we're partners on this podcast. So if I have an idea, I'm like, okay, first let me see if I can implement it myself and it doesn't impact them. If it, yeah. Okay. Yes. Well, my thing is like when you're working with somebody who's family in a normal circumstance, it's a lot harder sometimes to give criticisms or things like that. But when you're working with your mom, is there a point where you're like, okay, Mom, you're gonna need to go ahead and like talk into the microphone? Like, is there any points like that
Yes.
where it causes contention at home and like all of a sudden like, you know,
100
dinner's cold and stuff?
I tell you what, there are definite episodes where like we might be like angry or like upset with each other right before, and then we'll start. And there's so many cuts of that I've just deleted where the show starts, and to get my mom to laugh, I'll just say something stupid.
Okay.
Or like so my mom and I have a very weird relationship where like I will flip my mom off, and that's totally like if I'm laughing and I'm not actually angry, it means nothing. There's no meaning to that. It's just us being stupid.
Yeah.
And so like right before we record, I'll go 3, 2, 1. Like I always count it down, and so I'll just go 3, 2, 1, and I'll just
Nice.
hold it, and I'll just stare at her, and then we kind of start laughing. And
That's
it just
good.
because it kind of breaks the
That's
ice
good.
because like
Yeah.
we know that like if we start an episode angry, like it feels like we're trying to not be angry.
Okay.
So
it's
it's
not
like-
wholesome.
Yeah, and it's like, what's the point of that? Like, so we want to have fun with it. We want to enjoy it. We know that. Yeah, I mean, it is weird because like people always email the show and they're like, "Oh, hey, Don and Ruben, blah 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 blah," and they have all these things to say to my mom. The way that I pitch my mom is like a female Mr. Rogers. Everyone is important.
Yeah.
Everyone matters.
It's like a Bob
yeah.
Ross too. It's the same kind of feel good feel. And
Yeah.
you're like, I
she's
know
like-
I'm not getting programmed to be alt right now. I'm so sure of it.
Well, that's the thing is too is like she's like people listen because of you, and I'm like, no, they don't. Like nobody. I go, I could be anybody. Like, I go, the only people that listen to me are my friends, so I'm like, please listen to this.
Yeah.
But, like, all of her, like, people love her. There are people that all over the world, we've gotten emails that want to talk to Dawn. And she's like, but I'm just Dawn. And I go, exactly, though. But people
That's
are
the whole
interested
point,
in who you are. And people
That's
want
what
to
they
know
connect
who
with.
you are because of how genuinely wholesome you are. Like, I mean, this was, maybe a year ago now, or it was long before this George Floyd stuff. We were talking about something, and my mom was just saying that everyone matters, and totally accidentally, she says, yeah, and all lives matter. And on the show, I go, well, actually, like, here's what that means, and blah,
There's a
blah. And she goes, you know
specific
what?
meaning there.
You're right. Like,
Yeah.
like
There's another
while
philosophy
everyone is
that we can talk
important,
about. You
that-
probably weren't super disrespectful about it.
yeah, but I think that people hear something that they like all lives matter, and like that person's evil, and it's like my mom just didn't know. My mom was like, yeah, all
She
lives
just
matter
literally
'cause
meant exactly that.
everyone's important. Yeah, she was
Yeah,
like,
the
everyone
words
is
in a
special.
sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so it's like,
Yeah.
well, that phrase unfortunately has kind of been twisted, and so to talk to her about that and to like go, yeah, you know, here's what that means, and to have that on the podcast to be like, look, it's okay to talk to people, and it's also okay to learn.
Yeah. So it's about movies, though, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. yeah, that was. God, I'm trying to think of the worst movie we've done on the show. No, we've done. It's funny too though, because my mom, loves like wholesome stuff, but then like
Yeah.
there are times where she's given me stuff like Goodfellas or
Ooh.
The Godfather
So she does have
because
taste, yeah.
she loves wholesome. She loves Disney. She loves a lot of stuff, but at the same time, she cannot pass up a good mobster movie.
Oh,
like she
yeah.
loves that like
Mm.
Italian gangster. Like she goes, I don't know why, I just love that stuff. It's just
Okay.
so good, and it's funny because my mom, she loves the very thing, and she doesn't like F words. Oh, you can't say the F word because it doesn't make you sound smart. Blah blah blah. And I go, yeah. And then she's like, okay, so you're gonna watch Goodfellas, and I'm like, Mom, every other word in this movie. She's like, I know, I'm sorry.
I like
She's
the
like, let's watch
idea for
Inglourious
just, like,
Bastards.
feeling
You're like, what?
bad watching it.
Yeah, it's there are times where she's given me a movie that she might not have watched before. Like she's watched parts of it, but then she'll forget a complete portion of it, and she'll just like, I'll be like, "Hey, Mom, what's up with this movie?" And she'll be like, "I forgot."
That's funny.
Yeah,
I
it
remember watching
it
again.
absolutely rules.
That's awesome. My mom watches nothing but Tyler Perry movies,
Oof.
and it seems like it's compensation. It's kind of weird, but
Hey
Yeah.
man, Tyler
whatever.
Perry's he's got some sauce every now and then.
Dude,
Does-
I've seen
does
every
he?
Medea movie.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I've seen. They're
Diary of
actually
a Mad
pretty
Black
dang
Woman
funny.
was fire. I will not hear anything
They're-
to the contrary.
No, the Tyler Perry movies are funny. It's even funnier knowing that Tyler Perry is putting all this work in. Like he puts more stage time in a wig than he does not in a wig. It's
Yeah.
crazy. That dude's a hard-working man. And like,
Man directs
he goes
film, he
over the
directs
top.
theater, he acts, he produces, he owns his own,
Why are you telling me this? I've seen every one of his movies.
Tyler Perry does. Tyler Perry puts the work in. My favorite thing, I've seen multiple Tyler Perry movies in theaters as like a joke. But one time I went and saw Boo 2. Okay, the
Oh
Tyler
my
Perry Halloween sequel. It was like the second Halloween.
I did not
movie.
see that one. I did not see
And
that
I
one.
saw that
I
the
didn't.
I have
night it
standards.
came out at
Holy shit.
10 p.m. because I had Movie Pass
Wow.
at the time, and I was like, no one's
Movie
gonna
Pass
be in
was
here.
the shit.
Movie Pass. Oh, I feel like I single-handedly took them down because every
I
day.
bankrupt Movie Pass in the
we
first
just-
month.
What a fucking stupid business idea that was, huh? Like, who
Hold on.
fucking thought that like, okay, yeah, you
Wait,
just
Because
spend
theater
$20.
business was down.
I don't think I know what this is.
You know what
Theater
Movie Pass
business was
is?
down.
Movie Pass,
No.
bro.
We're gonna
Okay.
do a whole episode on
Who
Movie
wa-
Pass
who wa-
later.
who
We
wants
can't
to
do this right
explain it
now.
to him?
I'll
No, no,
explain
no.
Movie Pass. So Movie Pass was this thing that like kind of existed for a while, and I think it was like $50 when it first started, but not enough people were
It
signed
still
up for it.
exists.
So they dropped it to like $10 a month. And for $10 a month, you could see one movie a day at any theater. That was it.
Yeah, the only
just-
exclusion was like,
Yeah, it doesn't
like,
add up when you start
certain,
doing the
certain
math.
like Sony Pictures movies or
Oh no,
something.
that
Or,
was
like,
later.
premieres.
That was way later. That was way later. Out
Wow,
the
that's
gate,
amazing.
there was one movie every day.
Originally, no
Holy
rules.
shit.
And it got better. It got
I-
better. It got better. You could buy matinee tickets, which were $5.50 at some theaters. You had a $12 limit per day. You could buy 2 of those.
Yeah,
So me and
That's
my girl would buy
insane,
4
dude.
matinee tickets and take friends to theaters for free.
it ruled. I literally remember because I work usually
saw
at
every
4:30 in the
movie.
morning, and I'm off at like 1. So I would just go to the movies after work, and that was uninterrupted nap time. So I would just go pick whatever the closest movie. There was like 1:15. Perfect. I'm gonna go see Lego Ninjas. Perfect. Great. And I'd go
The 5th time.
sit in the back and fall asleep. I did that for like 9 days in a row, where I was just like, it's,
Shit.
and it was, I didn't pay a cent, but I saw like Chapter 1 in theaters like 6 times. And I just,
Oh, dude, Movie Pass was the bomb.
Yeah,
Pass
movie-
was the bomb.
yeah, it was destined to fail the moment that they started it. But yeah,
Well,
this,
here's the thing. There's a part of the business model that works. If you get people in the seats, the theater makes the money off the popcorn.
Yeah.
The part that sucks was it was cutting out the actual filmmakers because they're getting these inflated tickets.
yeah,
And so there was some issues with it. I think it's going to come back. It's still around, and I think there's other things that are going to replace it. But like, mark my words, a Movie Pass era is back. We'll be napping in theaters again.
well, AMC, all the theater chains have them now.
They do their own,
AMC has
exactly,
one.
yeah.
Cinemark has their own. Like,
They have their own like rewards card type deal.
yeah.
And the movie ticket thing where you can sign up and get guaranteed tickets. I actually have it. I had it for Cinemark. And so, like, yeah, it's a good deal. And you get discounts on the popcorn and stuff. So,
Yeah,
there's
it's
some good
not
stuff
a.
there.
I mean, it was a good deal. Right now, it's probably not ideal, but
Well, yeah, now it's like it better come with a free health insurance plan. But
Gotta
I'll
get a
say
free
this.
mask with your popcorn or some shit.
Yeah, they're going to be so desperate. There's going to be like a Movie Pass 10.0. That's like, listen, we'll pay you. Just come get sick in our theater, please. We're going out of business. But there was one other show you do that I know you got some other stuff coming up, but this one's already, I believe, out and about and just kind of your marketing a little bit. Time Machine Talk Show.
yeah, Time Machine Talk Show. That show is wild, man. I love that show. I have a 4th episode I'm sitting on. We're gonna put that up soon. What it is that's more of like a comedy podcast where it's like not scripted, but there's a quote unquote universe to it.
Okay.
So essentially, what it is I built a time machine in my garage out of an old freezer and cash register parts, and
Urkel or Steve, what is it?
yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's actually inspired by a whole bunch of things. So we established, huge film nerd. Originally in Back to the Future, what they wanted to use as a time machine was a fridge, but they didn't want kids to climb in refrigerators and like lock themselves in or die or whatever.
Kids are idiots.
Because kids are dumb. So so I was like, okay. And I've always, like with work, whenever I hear like a price that could be a year, I'm like, oh, that seems like a time machine thing. So I was like, I'll just say those are the time machine.
Okay.
And what I do is I interview comics, improvisers, podcasts, but they don't know what historical figure they're about to portray until I introduce them.
Awesome. That's super. So it's like drunk history, but
Yeah.
up to the tilt.
So that's a perfect example.
up to
It
the
is
tilt.
like a
live
mix
action
of
drunk history.
comedy, bang bang, drunk history, like these kind of like, and that's what I tell the people before they come on. I go, if you don't know anything about this person, that is even better.
Yeah.
Like it's even
Now they're an
better.
astronaut. Yeah, the first
Like-
Mongolian astronaut. That's
Yeah.
right. I said it. Yeah.
Every single episode, I think I've had at least one guest tell me I'm like an idiot. They're like, I hate you. And I'm like, yeah, it
You did it.
seems fair that every single
Success.
historical figure just looks at me and says, I hate you.
All you
Um,
hear is Excelsior. You're like,
I had
That was beautiful.
I had my friend Austin, who's a comic, Austin Blaylock. I had him on, and I was trying to stump him. I'm like, I'm gonna give him somebody weird. And Austin has a whole set on stage where he talks about he's 5'7". He is a short guy, and all his brothers are
Hey.
over 6 feet tall. Well, hold on. But he talks about now because of Austin's set. I do know that is the national average, but he always talks about being short. So I googled famous short people from history. And I just went through these, and I was like, at first my brain was like,
there's like two. No. I'm just kidding.
oh, there's a lot.
Yeah, no.
My brain
Tom
was
Cruise
like,
is still. Yeah.
give him Abe Lincoln, and I was like, maybe, like that's almost too. So I
One of
ended up
those,
finding
yeah.
out that J.R.R. Tolkien, the creator of Lord of the Rings, was 5'6", and I was like,
Mm.
perfect. Like he was a little dude, and I was like,
See,
perfect.
I always thought he was obese.
No, he was a very thin, frail man.
Well, I don't
I
like his
always
books
imagined
anymore.
him kind of looking like a wizard,
Yeah, big
though.
burly type. That's what I
Man,
thought.
No,
that's kind of
it is.
I
Yeah.
respected him more when I thought
That's
he
why
was
the
battling
story
cirrhosis.
starts in the Shire,
Keep going.
gentlemen.
Yeah, that's very true. No, that's
But
how
so-
you felt.
I bring him in, and I'm thinking, oh, he's got nothing. And we start talking about Lord of the Rings, and I ask him his 10 favorite Lord of the Rings characters. Number 10 was like Barack Obama. Number 9 was like he's saying these dumb things. Number 8 was like Helga Pataki, and I go, okay, what's number 7? And he just goes, Shelob the Spider Queen, and I'm like, excuse me, like what is Shelob the Spider Queen from? And he just goes, it's from Lord of the Rings, because I wrote it. And he goes to tell me all about Shelob the Spider Queen, who is a legitimate Lord of the Rings character. Austin is a huge Lord of the Rings fan. So he knew all these ridiculous... He's just, totally dicking around for a bunch of them. And then right after Shelob the Spider Queen was like Sonic the Hedgehog. Like it just went back to just being an idiot. Like, it was just stupid, dumb.
Love it.
I mean, I've had Sam Weber, who's a Santa Cruz comic. He came on.
Yeah, he was just on the show.
Love Sam. As we were getting ready to set up, he goes, I want to let you know, whoever you give me, I'm going to give them a Southern lawyer accent. Like the Southern like debutante lawyer. And I was like, well, in my notes, I was like, well, Sam is either going to be JFK or Teddy Roosevelt. And then he said that, and I'm like, he is no longer an American politician.
He's Oprah Winfrey.
I made him King Tut?
That's not bad.
Nice.
That's not bad.
So we had Southern lawyer King Tutankhamun.
I love it.
And it was perfect that he's just talking to me about ancient Egyptian in this
I'm
Southern
just a
drawl.
young pharaoh in Egypt.
Yeah. Oh, it was so good. And like I just got to record an episode with Adil Rafai, who is a huge podcaster. He's on Hey Riddle Riddle, Hello from the Magic Tavern.
Oh man.
And I made him John Lennon.
Did he do the voice? Did he do a voice?
Yeah. Oh, he instantly was like, "Hello, I'm John Lennon."
I can't believe I'm on a podcast. I thought I was dead.
He just kept saying Liverpool because
That's the one John Lennon fact he knew.
and he was
Liverpool,
like,
where's Yoko?
like there'd be a silence and he'd just go Liverpool.
That's great.
And what's so great about that is like after we record, he goes, "Dude, that was fun." I'm like, "Yeah, man, I appreciate it." He goes, "I'm be honest. The second you said John Lennon, I was like, I don't think I've ever done a John Lennon voice." And I was like, "Well, you could have done whatever." And he goes,
And he does
it was like I
30
had
minutes
to do it. Yeah, there's 30 minutes of him going Liverpool.
That's awesome.
But that's the thing. The show is
Broadening comedy horizons.
Yeah, so fun and so stupid, but I love it.
Awesome. Well, in the spirit of all the different improv stuff you do throughout all your shows, it's a common theme. We want to do a little something with you, give you a chance to improv on the show. Anthony, you want to take us into this one?
Listen, this is the 30-second pitch.
30 seconds.
We take one topic, we make you guys pick something for it, and we give you 30 seconds to pitch it. So, the 30-second pitch this episode is COVID-friendly kids' toys.
COVID-friendly kids' toys?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Should I start?
Yeah.
Is it
good
30
one.
seconds each or 30 seconds total?
It's approximately 30 seconds each.
Okay,
And we're going to
okay.
hold you to that. It's kind of like a racing game. If you get like a really funny thing, you get plus 5 seconds. And if you say something terrible like Anthony does, you get no seconds. No segundos. Let's COVID-friendly kid toys. I was trying to think of something basically that kids don't touch, because that's the only really way to make it like friendly. But then I was like, wait, what if you just cover everything in like Lysol? And I was like, so how do you cover something in Lysol and still make it fun? Lysol slip and slide. So, like, yeah, and it's perfect. You could put it, you could put it right on the
Disinfected.
front door. As your kid comes home from school, he's clean. You know, so
Disinfected.
Yeah, you can put one of those emergency eye wash kits at
Lysol
the
slip and
kitchen
slide.
because they're gonna need it a lot.
The kid's like standing there like, it burns.
The burning makes you
I
stronger.
can't feel my eyes.
Yeah, my eyes hurt. Well, COVID gets in through the eyes, so it's good that the Lysol got in there, didn't it?
All the adults are inside just drinking. Like, glad we can finally get together after this virus.
Hey, has anyone seen the kids?
This might be good for adults. This might be good for adults, too, to be honest.
Lysol slip and slide.
One drunk uncle outside who's just pouring Lysol onto a slip and slide and is like, we ran out of soap.
Like, what about
Just
bleach?
squirting
She's
the
like,
kids
nah,
as they
bleach
drive
is too
by on a
much.
dry mat.
Bleach is the adult version.
Instead of Lysol, just vodka. It kind of disinfects.
All right, there's Cameron. Sebastian, 30 seconds.
Oh, you're really gonna put
Like,
me
so
fucking
slip
up
and slide,
seconds?
that was
Okay,
so
I was
funny.
really trying to think of one, and I'm not ready yet. I can't believe you fucking did this to me.
Michael, 30
Ready?
seconds.
Yeah.
Me?
Oh, God.
Okay.
Sebastian's not ready.
Okay, I got one. Okay, so like with COVID, social distancing is key with your kids, right? I think that's the worry amongst the adults that have children. They want to keep their kids away. So there's gonna be like a chest plate that they can wear. That if another kid gets close, it'll be like it's like shoots water. You can also it just sprays the kid. Get away from me. There's an attachment too. That you can take out the water. You can put pepper spray in for when your kids walking to school. It's not just a toy. It's a protective item. Social distancing in public as well. I think this is great.
The pepper spray one is for future cops.
Yeah,
Can I
that's definitely not gonna lead to any lawsuits.
Can I just say the way you improve this app? This is you get an app for it. This toy that has like a body camera on it too,
Yeah.
so you can
body
see
cam
who your
function
kid
as
is
well,
spraying. So you can see who your kid's spraying. It's like if your kid gets harassed, you get an app on your phone. It pops up, and you look down. And it's like another kid getting sprayed in the face with pepper spray. And he's like, "Ow!"
What Michael has invented is essentially child police officers.
I think they have this on the border. I actually think they have this on the border already.
Watch the neighborhood bully get one of these things and just start terrorizing the neighborhood.
That's what I was just thinking of. The bully's gonna tape off the camera. And he's just gonna,
Sorry, Mom, the camera
Cut the
stopped
cam,
working.
cut the
It
cam.
broke. I don't know what happened.
Why was
well, yeah. What
If
would
you
suck,
look at
though,
the chi-
is, like, as a parent, you can't take your kid's spray plate away if he's a bully because then he goes without one. All the other kids have it. He's over. He's done. You can't just take it away. Like, I don't know how you would.
I
There's
mean,
gonna be
you
so
can,
much
because
TikTok
then he will
footage.
no longer be the bully.
You've taken away his main
Hazing.
means of doing it.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you
Alright,
fucked
there's gonna
up.
be,
Here you
a
go.
lot of
No
bad
chest
stuff.
plate today. Sucks to suck.
Out there defenseless on these streets.
He just comes back with his eyes all puffy and swollen. He's like vomiting
Oh, the
blood.
kids, yeah.
I have my chest plate tomorrow.
Dad.
Oh, you thought it was cool to go to school and call a kid gay? Well, here you go.
I'm imagining though the kid gets like shoved into a locker or whatever. That still happens, right? And
I feel like somebody's gonna go and play with Cameron's toy. And they're gonna put Lysol in this fucking spray thing.
oh, see, yeah,
Gonna
the
do Lord's work.
crossover.
All right, I got a good one. I got a hypoallergenic stuffed bear with respirator attachment so that kids make.
So what is that? The kids can just like stuff their face.
So the
in
kids
it?
can hug it. It's like the attachment is right over the face. So when you hug it, you also get life-saving oxygen.
Oh.
The problem with that is it just looks like kids everywhere are going to be like assaulting stuffed animals.
Yeah.
It'd be the saddest teddy bear ever. They're like, Mom, can I get a teddy bear without a gas mask? It hurts my face.
Can I just get a regular one?
You'd be like,
No,
what are you
it's
doing,
cool 'cause
son?
it's hypoallergenic. It's super soft and clean and like doesn't fuck with your allergies at all.
It's just
see
like, the artificial
kid,
polyesters give me a rash.
Are there
Keep stuffing his face in the-
I was
non-hypoallergenic
gonna
teddy
say-
bears?
Yeah.
Where's the
We're
mask
making
at?
these piece
Yeah.
of shit lead-based bears.
They're made out of 100% recycled material.
Where's the
Counter-
mask
glass.
part of it at?
Eco-friendly.
Counterpoint. Hyper.
Like, it's got to be in a good
allergenic.
spot. Like, you can't, like... the mask can't be, like, on the bear's ass. You just keep doing it, like... What are you doing, son? You'd be like, I'm learning how to eat the booty like groceries, Dad.
I'm reenacting
breathe
the human
deep, son.
centipede.
Breathe
Oh my
deep.
God.
Yeah. Jesus, this is like a fetish doll more than it is a kid's toy.
Yeah,
but-
I don't
Fuck,
think...
dude.
I don't know how the mask got moved to the ass. I put it on the face.
Oh, I didn't know.
Michael's the real sick one here.
I just asked where would it be, and then I said you can't put it on the ass.
I don't know, man. Someone
He's trying to
down in
get ahead.
R&D just fucked up, didn't hear right, and now we
Like,
got a
it's on the
thousand
It's on the
face.
ass.
It's on the
Yeah, I
face.
don't want that
You're
marketing
making
to
out
sell.
with this bear, like. That's even worse. Like,
Listen, what do kids love? They love stuffed bears. Name me a kid who doesn't like a stuffed bear.
I feel
He's
like you're
not a
trying
kid.
to start like a bestiality cult, like with all these
Yeah.
kissing bears. and
What the
stuff.
fuck?
You know what? You could go licensing on it. I think Sonic the Hedgehog would do real well with that.
I'm trying to break into the furry community.
Oh my god.
When did you first know
you've been
you
more
were
than
a
trying.
furry?
I'm not a furry. I am not a furry.
No, I
it'll-
like the idea that it's
Wow,
like, oh,
why
when
did you get
did you
so
know?
defensive? I think there's some hidden.
I'm not a furry. I'm definitely not a furry.
I think the furry community broke you in.
Me? 100% not a furry.
I don't know, man. Ever since
Who's
we watched
asking?
Who
I'm not
Framed
a
Roger
furry.
I think
Rabbit.
we just found out that Anthony's a.
I don't know. Man. I'm not a furry.
Okay.
I like the idea though that like that's what breaks people into being a furry is like, yeah, my mom got me this respirator with this teddy bear with a respirator. I just kept kissing it.
Now he can't stop jerking off in rabbit costumes.
Oh my
I don't know what's wrong with me.
All right, Ruben. 30 seconds. COVID-friendly kid toy.
Oh, did
All
you
right.
do one yet? Are we putting pressure on
I've
Ruben
got
first?
I've got mine.
Oh, you want to
wanna do Seb?
Sebastian? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go
Sebastian,
for it. Go
30
for it. Go for it.
seconds.
I'll go last.
Okay, so mine is very simple. It's a very simple idea. We just need to fucking, in order to get more kids wearing masks, because we've already decided we're sending these fucking kids back to school. We don't give a shit, right? We're there.
For sure.
Can't deal with it.
And what do kids fucking love doing? They love wearing masks. Are you fucking kidding me? They love wearing like Spider-Man masks and all this bullshit. So we just need to fully embrace that. Like we just need to give these kids fucking Spider-Man or Optimus Prime, whatever. But like I'm talking like full on like like the kind you would wear if your country had just been mustard gassed or something. Like full on gas masks, right?
Wow.
We pull them out of
Militarize
stores. We
schools
probably
as a
have them
toy
somewhere.
pitch?
Yeah, dude, they're just like bitching, like light up, like Spider-Man.
Dude,
or
if they're
fucking
wearing my
Transformers,
chest
whatever
plate and this
masks.
mask, they're gonna look sick.
Exactly, though. That's the thing. You combine it. You combine it
They're
with
not
the
gonna fit
fucking
on the slip and
defensive
slide.
chest
They're not
plate
going to school. They're going to fucking Chernobyl.
to
or
enforce
something.
social distancing.
Yeah.
Give
The
them a
mask will have
hazmat
like a bunch
suit.
of like radar sensors in it, and then it'll like light up and freak out if someone gets more than 6 feet or gets closer than 6
Nice,
feet.
dude. Yeah. So you're on
like
that,
in
you're on that
cage
same
kill
idea,
mode.
social distance.
It'll
yeah.
send a Bluetooth message to the chest plate, letting it know to spray the pepper spray onto. The
It's all, dude.
You guys are not in touch with kids very well.
No, I'm really
At
not.
all. At all.
We're
You,
militarizing
Kids
the
going to
children.
school are cruel little
Yeah.
fuckers who like to bully other kids. They're gonna love this.
In 10 years, we're gonna be saying like defund the kids because they're gonna be They're gonna be fully tanked.
Oh no, no, no!
They're just gonna have full gas mask and chest plate armor and everything. What are we talking about?
Look, we thought the young generation would grow past this, but there is systemic oppression among the youth. I wouldn't doubt it, actually. That's sad.
All right, Ruben.
Well, on that note, now
Okay.
we give the perfect jump-off point for real.
Here we go.
Here you go.
Look, we're talking about systemic racism. Okay, look. What do people love? Protecting children. What do people not like? Putting children in cages. Now, what else do people like? Hamsters. Now, let's combine something they don't like, putting children in cages, and make human-sized hamster cages. So you make a child-sized hamster cage, and with those tubes and the wheel and the water bottle, because then if you make a human-sized hamster ball for children, you just let them go down the street. They get hit by a car, they're fine. They can play with their friends.
Wow.
They're not gonna get corona.
That's,
You do need to cut holes
this
in
is
the
the
ball.
route to take. Put them all in giant
You
bubbles.
do
Yeah.
cut holes. What
You call it
There
a
is
bubble
some
instead
error.
of the cage. That's important for marketing purposes.
No. What I'm saying is there's a
Oh,
cage.
but-
The cage is at home, and they can crawl through the tubes. Because look,
No, you have to have
The cage is where you
You
tell
can't get
me
the ball
bubble.
without the cage.
yeah, tell me the difference between a hamster cage and a McDonald's play place. They're exactly the same. They've got tubes everywhere. They've got.
They might as well have one of those big things that you can run in,
The
bro.
wheels
for real.
that you just
Yeah.
There's
They
the
might as
spot
well.
where you take your
They'll get
shit.
probably just
exercise.
gonna kick
Childhood
themselves.
obesity will no longer be a thing because of the wheel.
Look, you guys
Not
are
true.
creating
They have
mini
to.
cops.
Yeah, you have to
I'm
do 20
solving
minutes of the
problems.
wheel after you eat your Happy Meal. Like it's just.
Yeah.
Hold on, I've seen the fattest kids ever at McDonald's, so that theory does not stack up. Are we worried it's going to go like the way of the hamsters and the kids are going to start eating each other?
Hey,
We'll cross
if
that
it
bridge
does,
when we get there.
Hey man,
Yes.
it's law of the sandbox, you know.
We'll
Whatever
call it an
happens,
aggressive
happens.
case of COVID. It's just very aggressive COVID.
I just like the idea that there's going to be one kid who's using all your guys' products, and then the kid that comes out of mine is like this jacked 9-year-old, and like a kid like pepper sprays him, and he just like blinks it off and wipes it out and just starts beating the other kid.
Or they spray it on the bubble, and he's like,
No.
He's been living his whole life as an animal. He's like, "Wah."
Yeah. Drinking Diet Coke out of one of those big bottles, like.
He just drinks out of
Ruben's
two
kid just looks
liters.
like Henry Rollins with a ball when he's bald, just like in the bubble, just.
As a 9-year-old.
Oh my gosh, it's like that movie Hannah, but with gluten allergies and.
Yeah, that kid won't be allergic to anything. That kid will be the prime specimen.
I think that's actually how a lot of kids maybe die. But who knows? Wheat, chaff. How do we do it? That was the darkest biblical reference I've ever made. Oh my gosh! So I think we got some good headlines. I think we got some good things to punch there. We'll turn one or two of them into an actual product. So what's some big stuff that's been on your plate? What's some standout moments in all your shows? What have been some things that you've been loving to experience going through life?
Well,
What are some things you want to share?
I think for me right now, it's just cool to see what Pick Your Poison has been able to become. Like with Home Remedy is what we're calling it. Like it's just been fun to be able to get these comics that like we never would be able to get live because they're in New York or LA or whatever. Like, but it's cool to be able to grow our brand and to see that and to be able to push that to other places. And it's cool for us because we're starting to get like fans who are coming because they like the show, and that blows our mind. I mean, BMO is the best, and I've always said like, because BMO's like, I don't know, and I'm like, dude, if you leave this show, the show's done. Like, I'm not gonna do this without you. Like, it's just funny because I did the first season by myself, but BMO was the general manager of the brewery, and he was pretty much co-producing. And then in season 2, I'm like, yeah, man. So you'll be the co-producer. Like it'll be you and me co-producing. He's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, dude. You did so much. Like, of course. And we even moved breweries, and he stayed with me as a co-producer. Like he helped me find a new brewery.
Oh dang!
And BMO rules. And BMO has so many amazing connections in the area that like he is the perfect person to work with because with like the ideas that like these weird, bizarre ideas that because I'll pitch him new ideas because we get breweries that are like, hey man, we'd love for you guys to come bring Pick Your Poison here, and we're like, well, we're not really going to take it anywhere, but here's other ideas for other weird shows because like people like seeing something different, and like what BMO's like crowning achievement with the show is we sell that place out on a Tuesday to paid tickets.
That's ballsy.
Like that's
dope.
That's not easy, and like we definitely don't give ourselves enough credit on that. Where it's like that is difficult. But I think for us to now kind of move it, and to move it, not only did we move it to Zoom, but we made it free on Zoom. And when we go back to live, we'll probably go back to, in 2045, when we go back to live comedy, it'll be ticketed again, and we'll figure it out. But like, to show ourselves that we can do this on a Friday, and it can still be successful is also like, okay, cool.
So it's not a Tuesday only shtick. Was there ever a doubt of that? You were
Kind
like,
of, because with everything that happens on Friday, like...
Oh, competing. Yeah, your competition steps up.
Yeah, competition steps up because a lot of Zoom shows happen over the weekend, or people just have other things they want to do. Yeah, oh yeah.
Friday's a try-hard day. Saturday, same thing.
100%.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's just trying to figure things out and seeing what's going to happen. But, yeah, dude, we love Pick Your Poison. BMO rules.
I only met him once, and it was at the last show at Cafe Frescati, I think it was.
He is insane, and I love him to death. It was funny because people think BMO and I have known each other for forever, and we literally met 2 months before Pick Your Poison started.
Dang. Wow,
like,
cool.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, super nice guy. He sold me some heroin.
He doesn't make me pay for it. But well, what's funny is literally the first one of the first conversations BMO and I ever had was me pitching him Pick Your Poison.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
And that's what it became. And so like with his knowledge of like how to run a business and how to run a show, and with me kind of being super delved into the scene of like, we need to get this person. We need to try and get this person. Hey, so-and-so's on tour with so-and-so. I can reach out to this person and see if they'll come do it. And blah, 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 blah. Like, that's what we love about the show. And, like, we kind of, like, at this point, like, depending on the week, like, he'll take 3 spots and I'll take 2 spots. And it's like, you fill these 3, I'll fill these 2. We trust each other to know.
Even splitting the booking.
Yeah, because we both trust each other enough to know who's going to do what. Like, we know that the other one's not going to book someone that absolutely sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And like, sure, we've had people that have like disappointed us, but also we've had people that have blown us out of the water where we're like, what was that?
Yeah.
Like, just
every night's different. You can have a good comic and they can have a bad night. So
exactly.
You can't hold somebody accountable for
especially
every single thing.
with riffing. Like,
yeah, the first half element.
They could get a completely different envelope than they got the first half. Like, if somebody, we've had a couple people who've done the show twice, and one has been amazing, and the other maybe not so good, or both have been great, or both have been okay. Like it just depends on the comic. And like,
was there ever a mismatch on a card, like where somebody got a topic and it was just you could tell right away, or like you found out eventually, like big mismatch?
No, I mean there have been times where in the first season we did the show, I had a little bit more topical references, like more like pop culture, and we realized to kind of like slow them down because some people were just completely missing what the reference was to, and they were like shooting for something completely different.
Oh,
and it like didn't work.
Instantly.
Yeah. Like one envelope said president of the Creed fan club.
Okay.
And this person just goes, I've never seen The Office.
Oh.
And it was like right there. Everyone was like, but Creed, the band, it's right there.
It's really fun to make fun of them. Everybody does it. Just
yeah. But they didn't even, because especially when you're on the spot like that, you don't even think about it. You're not thinking, oh, this, oh, that. We have had the best one we ever had. I feel like I've said that all the time about this show, but one of my favorites was Sean Reddy starts his set and he goes, I need to let you guys know I am terrible at reading. He goes, I didn't realize I would have to read so much when I agreed to do the show. I am not good at reading.
That's great.
And we're like, yeah, that's fine, man. And it was like, he does his first 2 jokes, boom, boom, boom. His third joke, it says, DoorDash for adoptions. Okay?
Oh, nice.
And he looks at it, he looks at the crowd, and he looks back and he goes, DoorDash for abortions, huh? And the crowd is losing it.
That's awesome. Everything just went in his favor.
I'm like, Sean, it says adoptions. And he just goes, oh, same thing, I guess. But no, that's like that. I love it because it just keeps people on their toes. It's fun. I mean, I've talked to Michael about bringing it to Salinas out to you guys when everything cools down, but that'd be fun.
Salinas Market is nice, yeah. I've been surprised. I thought coming to the Monterey area, like I started comedy over here just like a year and a half ago, so I didn't know what to expect. But now knowing a little bit more about scenes and cultures and kind of different regions, it's weird that Salinas is popping the way it is and the way it does.
Yeah.
Just so many different types of comedy. I've seen like the really fast-paced, light 'em up, bang, 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 big city comics. I've seen the guys who are like more trying to set a theme or a vibe, like the Southern style comedy. I've seen a bunch of different types, and like everything responds well if it's executed well. So I know that format would work down there. It's just getting a good venue that makes it work. But it'd be fun to see it, man. It'd be great to see it, and to not have to drive an hour and a half to see it would be amazing.
Yeah, and but I mean, especially if I
can
get
on the Zoom show.
Yeah, if I can bring it out to you guys too, I would love to just have you guys all do it. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. What's nice about it is you can use comics from that area. Like we normally have people drive from like San Francisco or all over who have come and done it. And the lineups, that's why I love building a lineup on a show. That's my favorite thing, especially with this show, because I'll look at it and I'll go, well, we have 3 deadpan comics, 1 super energetic comic. Like maybe we even it out this way or even it out that way. Because people are like, oh, you got to book this kind of person, that kind of person. I'm like,
yeah. Look,
I book who I see in the scene and who I see is doing good. And like, and that's the thing. People are like, well, at least one female comic. It's like, well, of course, but also like this last show, we had 4 female comics, and they were all stars. I mean, they were amazing. One of them was from Boise. She was amazing. We had one from LA, 2 Bay Area comics, and it just hit after hit. Every single joke was like boom, but like they wrote it. Like I told BMO, I go, the envelopes could not have been better for this this round or whatever, because it was just so boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I love it, man.
Yeah, I do like that booking. You made a couple points there that like I'd like wanted to make comment on if it's not too much trouble.
Yeah.
But the one thing about like with any trying to fill a demographic of a type of comic, it becomes so much exponentially harder when you're not just setting your expectation at like who's going to be funny. There's going to be different types of people in the audience. I need different types of comedy. You know, like you said, deadpan. I need some big gestures or whatever. Get the whole gamut. But then when you start going like, okay, I need a female comic. And I had 2 females I invited. They're hilarious comics, but neither one's available. So now I got to find a third comic that fits this bill. And just coincidentally, it's better if they're a woman or else people might get upset.
Yeah.
And like and it's not just like, I'm not trying to pick on women because I know there is like a history of like being absolutely blacklisted from even having opportunities. So there's justified cause to talk about it and stuff. But like how many different categories and how many different things, it worries me because I haven't as a comic set like, oh, I'm this style. I've had whole shows where I do deadpan, and I've had whole shows where I'm like practically doing mime. Like it just, I've gone like all big storytelling. I've done super scripted jokes, tight, and so I don't know how do you as a comic or as a booker when you're looking at a comic, is your assessment based off what you've seen of them live?
Yeah.
Like how just you have to see a lot of live performances.
So when everything was normal, I would try and go to as many shows as I was doing.
And you're everywhere, yeah. I've seen.
Yeah. So like, and that. You know, there are times where it's cool and times where it's not, because there are some shows I just go watch to watch. Like and then I get there and people are like, "Oh, do you want time? Do you want time?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to be a part of this at all. I just want to like watch. Like I will look at comics that I see that are popping up a lot in Bacon, the Bay Area Comedy Network. I'll see them on posters, and I'll find shows that they're on and I'll go watch them. I'm like, okay, why are they showing up a lot? Are they, or if there are people who have hit me up on Facebook who I don't really know, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to tell them I'm going to be there, but I'm just going to go look for a show that they're going to be on, and I'll go watch and see if I like them, because it's so funny to say this as a producer. Clips drive me insane because that's one shot. Like,
I agree with you there. Like, it's better to, you know, people would ask me, like, can I come to the thing? I'm like, come to an open mic, or I'm going to be at this open mic this night. Like, you know, come, like, I want to watch you. Just like to that point you're saying, like, I 100% agree with you on that. Like, watching somebody and watching them a couple times, because you want to make sure that they are able to handle different environments before you, you know, bring them to your show. Because especially something like you're doing, which is, you know, not the normal format, you want to see how they handle pressure or, you know, things like that, because that's
how do you riff?
Yeah, exactly. That's something you want to see.
I've had a couple people too. This is my favorite. If people get the name of the show wrong, I'm always like, maybe. But like, I literally had a guy message me.
I like that pick your popcorn thing.
Well, this one guy messaged me, and he just goes, "Hey man, I'd love to do that Comedy Poison show." And I was like, well, first of all,
Comedy Poison.
Maybe not calling the show Comedy Poison is a good idea.
Hey, I'll have to do your funny medicine laugh thing.
Yeah. But so, I mean, that's the thing, is like, there's some people where I'm like, and I always talk to people, go, hey, like, how do you feel about this show? And they're like, I'm kind of nervous. I go, come watch the one before. Like, just watch it. Like, that's what I encourage comics. And we always tell comics, if you message me about being on the show and you want to do the show, come watch the show.
At least once.
Just
like learn
just
the
so
format.
You know what you're getting yourself into, because there are people who agree to it and then are kind of thrown off by it. And I'm not trying to surprise anybody or trick anybody.
Yeah.
I just want to put on the best show, and I want people to do the show to have fun. And like, we try and like book people that we know are positive to be around. Like, we kind of, I mean, every producer has like their own little blacklist, but if there's like, we hear like rumblings of like, oh, this person did this, we're like, oh, you're out, bud. Like, we obviously don't tell them that, but we're like, we don't want to put anyone in a situation where they feel like, oh, this person's here, I don't really want to be around that.
You're curating an atmosphere.
Yeah.
Not just that one 5, 10, 15-minute set that they do, but the whole show around it too, yeah.
We want our audience to leave going, that show was so fun, and we want our comics to leave going, oh my god, that was so much fun.
I want the audience to leave every show. Get out of here.
Just, they show up and then I use that pepper
Give me your
spray
money.
gun.
Get out. There's a Lysol slip and slide. Hit that shit and get.
Get at it.
I will say is like I love the whole idea. I only get to see like from an outsider's perspective the troubles like Michael goes through when he's booking. Like a couple times he's called me like same day and be like, dude, I'm so sorry. Someone bailed. Can you fill a spot? And I love that. Like I literally just like, let me finish jerking off first. Oh. And then, you know, like, but like realistically, I see the struggles he goes through and stuff with that. So to hear somebody who's like as methodical as stuff is cool, but it makes me neurotic. I'm the type of comic who, like you, I'll always go to a venue first. I wouldn't dare walk up on stage without knowing right where the entrance from the green room, if there is one, who the producers, who I talk to when I go in first. You know, I want all that stuff nailed out. I want like a floor plan of the building and shit. But you made me neurotic when you talked about like seeing how they improv and all that stuff and like what type of comic they are. Because I did the first time I did for Scotty, I actually had a good night. I was kind of crushing with some new material I was working on. Most of it was about the Australian wildfires. It was terribly offensive. I talked about pedophilia like 6 times, but I had the place laughing though. And like he was like, "Hey, good set." And I at the time I wanted to be like, "I don't talk about pedophiles."
Yeah. That's not my whole.
I'm not a pedophile comic. That's not me.
Yeah.
I swear I don't like the Australian wildfires. So like I hate having a good night when like you're at a new spot and you're like, I feel good about it, and then afterwards you're like, wait, everyone thinks I'm a terrible human being now.
Well, that's the thing. I think like you know, depending on what you can find and what you do, like that's why I like to watch people. Like I like to go to the Gone Show because I like to just watch people try and do 3 minutes. How do people handle 3 minutes? And
Anthony's batting 1,000 for the Gong Show right now, I think. Aren't you, Anthony?
Are you batting 1,000? You've never been gonged?
So,
You did it one
but
time.
I've only been up once.
Oh,
so.
okay.
No, you've been up twice. That's not true.
Was it twice?
You've been up at least twice. I've seen you there twice. And you didn't get gonged either time.
I usually drink too much when I go out there.
I know, because I got gonged both times. And so like in
He
the
wasn't
parking
there.
lot,
He
I was
was
like,
over
should I
there the
kill
one time.
Anthony? I was like, should I kill
Yeah,
Anthony?
I saw him.
Pretty sure
You
I
were
was
only there
only
once?
there once.
You were just there
Yep.
once? Oh,
Yeah.
that's why you were bragging. That's why you're still at 1,000. That's why you're still batting 1,000. I'm
I
just
mean,
trying
it
to let
doesn't
you
matter.
up.
I'll go
Gong.
again, and it'll still be 1,000.
Do
but-
me a
It's all
favor.
good, yeah.
When I build you up,
You know what's
don't
funny is
tear yourself down.
Right before all this happened, I was scheduled to be one of the judges in March.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
And I was like so excited about it because I love Mike McGee. He's a real sweet dude, real genuine dude. And he was like stoked to have me in
Such a
BMO.
sweetheart.
And then the world collapsed, and we were like, oh, dope.
Yep.
Dude, I met Mike there, and the first time I went up, I got gonged, and I was like, kind of heartbroken. But I had faltered a little bit. I had felt myself like second, like hesitate on a joke. And then 2 people came up afterwards, and they're like, dude, what was the end of the joke? I want to hear the rest of the joke. And like a bunch of people said nice things, so I didn't feel so bad. And then Mike comes over, and he's like, hey, don't worry about it. Some people just gong for no reason. And I was like, thanks, man. I go back again. This time I get gonged while I'm doing good. I'm doing well. People are laughing. I still get gonged. I turn back. I make fun of the guy who gonged me and get an even bigger laugh. And then he comes up to me afterwards and said some super nice things. And I was like, God dang, man. I've never been like gonged off and felt so good about myself afterwards. That show is amazing.
Yeah, that show rules. The first time I ever did that show, I was hyping myself up on it. And I was like, oh, God.
This is everything.
Because I'm a
This is
storyteller.
everything.
So I'm
This is
like,
my break.
I've got to do one-liners.
Oh.
I've got to do one-liners. Like, I've got to do quick jokes. And I got gonged, maybe not immediately, but I got gonged after I did it. It was Christmas time. It was December, and I remember this. And right as I got on stage, one of the judges looks at me, and she was some dancer or something. She goes, be funny. And into the mic,
Funny.
into the mic, I just go, be funny. Do you know where you are? And I just look kind of go, she just told me to be funny.
Yeah, she's
I-
like, dance,
Funny.
bitch.
Like,
What are you
oh,
doing?
fuck, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, I'm like, what did that
course.
mean? And I was like, so she already does not like me because I'm like, what a dumb thing to say. And then I told a joke which I've never told. It's not really my style. I tend to run clean, but I was like, this is a stupid joke, and I played it, and I went, guys, I saw mommy kissing Santa Claus, and I saw Daddy quietly masturbating in the corner.
That's a good one.
And
yeah.
she gets up and just gongs, and she's like, gross. And I was like, I mean,
Gross.
fair. Yeah, gross. And Mike just
yeah.
goes, no love for cuckolding at the Gone Show.
Always. They're so ready there. They are so ready. As soon as
That's
anything
awesome.
breaks in action, they're
Yeah.
right out there. It's so awesome, dude. I really love that show. I can't wait to get back out there, man. It's gonna be fun. And honestly, I can't wait to check out your next Zoom show. Are you doing it every Friday, every other Friday?
It's every
How
other
often
Friday.
are you doing it now? Every
So-
other Friday.
Nice.
Yeah, so the next one, let me see, because I don't know how to do math.
24th.
If it's
Does that mean-
the 24th.
So July 24th, check
Yeah.
out the next episode. Pick your
yeah.
poison homebrew. And don't forget to check out Time Machine Talk Show.
Yeah.
Kid Tested, Mother Approved. 3 wonderful avenues and more to come in the
Thank
future,
you.
it sounds like. Thanks again for coming on here, man. We usually wrap up with takeaways, but before we get into that, is there any other things that we might have cut you off or interrupted on you want to get out there?
No, I mean, probably. I will say this, and you can cut this if it's fine. My mic, stopped recording a couple times, so I will timestamp it and send it to you, Michael, so you know when, to kind of maybe move my audio a little bit more forward. But I got most of it from there. But other than that, no.
Nice.
That was probably going to get cut.
Yeah, that's fine. Cut that. The best part is you can say that's probably going to get cut. Then it'd be like, what did he say? Because it started with him drawing
yeah.
weird, vaguely offensive pictures, and then he had to
We
cut
try and have some
something.
funny cuts.
That's funny.
The episode's actually going to be just us talking about the pictures and then the cut.
Yeah, this is going to cut.
Awesome. What did you guys got for takeaways, gang?
I want to apologize to Gen Z for the horrific toys that we envisioned for all of you. I know Michael hates
Pathetic.
kids, but that doesn't mean the rest of us can do
Always
what he
just
does.
says that, dude. You don't just gotta
You have
throw that
no
out there
spine.
like that, man. Damn.
You have no spine, Anthony. What do you got? So
Just say I hate
mean-
somebody like that. Jeez, fuck.
I'm just saying, dude, you know how many episodes we've had now where you fucking done that?
I don't enjoy
How
the
can he-
presence of children, but it doesn't mean I hate them. Fuck.
how
Like,
can he hate kids when
That's
he
such
loves
a
Adidas?
that's such a fucking just bold statement to make out there on my behalf. Fucking watch what you say.
Sometimes we do over promote hate speech on the podcast.
Damn.
Seb, what do you got for takeaways?
I just when you said that woman told you be funny, that really stuck with me. And I think I'm gonna come out of this just sometimes you just gotta fucking say just exactly what you mean and not try to be subtle about it at all. I don't know, just the idea of fucking saying that to someone right before they go
A
on
lot
stage.
you can say with
is
5
great.
fingers.
My takeaway from this episode is it was really fun to sit and chat with Ruben. I've been seeing the Zoom, the home remedy kind of, take off since you guys started, so it was cool to hear kind of an
Yeah.
update about that. The Lysol slip and slide was so funny. Like I was just thinking of an infomercial right away. Just disinfected. Like I just had it was awesome. That's my takeaway.
And as
though.
few kids crying in the commercial as possible. Like, it really burns. Yeah, my takeaway got to be, having met you only a couple times before, around different shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Never had a lot of time to chat. You're something, besides being a funny guy, obviously, I would say you're a morally, I don't want to call it sound because everyone's got their own morals, but a morally conscious comedian. It's awesome to hear that there's a lot of active thought that goes into not just the jokes you're saying, but who you're working with, why you're doing things with
Yeah.
people, and what you're trying to give to the audience. And that's thoughtful and awesome. I like to
I
hear
appreciate
It's
that.
cool to meet you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. My takeaway is that I really feel like that slip and slide thing could actually happen, and that's the worst thing that I could think of. That
If you think I'm not having sex with one of those right now, you're insane.
Yeah.
But yeah.
there's someone in Wisconsin that's like, we put a Lysol on the slip and slide, and little Jimmy goes all over it.
That's how he takes his bath.
Yeah. It's cheaper than water.
Yeah, cleaner than water.
Yeah. You know you can drink stuff?
Kid's all cross-eyed and bleeding out of his nose.
I like Lysol pool. Awesome.
I'm this man, and he's like, that's clearly an adult man. That is an adult man.
Awesome. All right, you want to take us out, Anthony?
Go read a book.
Stay hydrated.
Mucho take it easy, baby girls. Check me out on Instagram at campeasy.berry and YouTube at CB Comedy.
I'm on Instagram, Seinfeld, SIGHN Feld, and also Fuckerberg.
Young Baphomet _ on Instagram and the fucking Twitter machine.
And I'm at _M Booth on Twitter and Instagram, and then Facebook, YouTube, Michael Booth.
And don't forget to check out the Cowboy Rowdy Podcast on Instagram and also the Cowboy Rowdy Podcast on Facebook.